Hello, my name is Sandy, and I am a Metrolinx people leader who has just finished the job description process for a new role on my team. Job description writing is a people leader responsibility here at Metrolinx. So I would like to share with you some of the tips and tricks that I learned and found helpful when I went through the process of creating a job description, or for short, a JD. You can use the playback buttons below to increase or decrease speech speed. Now let's get started. I know you must be excited to get started and begin crafting your job description. However, before you begin writing, I recommend you first connect with your HR business partner for guidance to see if creating a JD is the correct approach. Your HR business partner, or HRBP for short, will partner with you and can help identify the best approach for your situation. Your HRBP will advise if a new JD is required and guide you through the overall process, and depending on your requirements, you may be provided a JD template tool that can assist with drafting your JD. This quick learning module will give you tips and tricks to help you craft or revise a job description. Learning objectives. In this module, I will share with you what is a job description and what is it used for. Quick tips and tricks for writing a JD. Examples of what a good JD statement looks like. The JD writing process itself. What your HRBP will review with you after you submit your JD. Job description basics. What is a job description? Each organization will have a different job description template based on the organization's requirements. Regardless of the organization, a well-crafted JD should incorporate the basics. A comprehensive and descriptive summary and record of key duties required to be performed for a position. Job descriptions are mainly used for job evaluation and are also used for job postings, labor relations, and performance management, to name a few. Because a JD has so many uses for so many programs and projects, it's imperative to get the position captured correctly in the JD. Job descriptions should be written with easily understood language so that all the readers can grasp the basics of a role. Be sure to use language that is easily understood by all audiences. Appreciating there are some technical roles, you should strive to write a JD in clear and concise, easy to understand language. JD writing is an iterative process. It's not uncommon to go through several drafts before you get to the final version. Much like writing a short story, it's natural to go through a few drafts as you get closer and closer to a final version. Your leader, colleagues, and HRBP may all provide feedback that strengthen the JD. It's perfectly natural to go through a few draft versions of your JD before you reach the final version. A job description and job posting are not the same. Job postings are a summary of the job used to attract a specific caliber of talent, whereas the job description is the larger document that contains the full scope of the job. You can think of a job posting as a movie trailer giving people a glimpse of a job, and the job description as the full movie. Tips of job description writing, the do's. Here are several tips that will help you develop a strong and robust job description. Please note, not every statement must follow all of these tips, but keep them in mind when you draft your JD. Job descriptions should represent the current state or tasks of the job. The JD should represent the position and the work that is to be done now. Avoid writing to a future state that has not occurred yet. Although the team may be working to improve processes and build a future state, you should reflect the current work to be done now. A job description can be revised in the future if updates are required to better reflect your job duties. Each statement should start with a verb. Verbs help describe and convey the primary action being taken. Ensure the verb used is reflective of the work to be done. For example, if a position is responsible to create a new inventory management system, you should use a robust verb such as develops or implements, rather than coordinates or facilitates. Outline the benefit provided by the task through outcome-focused statements. We want to speak to the intended benefits provided by each task, which we can achieve by highlighting the expected outcome. That is to say, the role is spending a lot of time doing a certain activity. What is the result? And how does that provide a benefit to the organization? Speaking to the benefits and outcomes helps all readers understand the expectations of the role. This helps incumbents know what they are responsible for producing and what is needed to produce that work. For example, if a position is responsible for cleaning trains, we can infer the benefit in this example and can craft a more robust statement by stating responsible for cleaning trains to ensure Metrolinx customers have a positive customer experience in a clean environment. But what if we had a more complex example? For example, if our position drafts and develops analytical data analysis reports via standard deviation documentation and common size Monte Carlo analysis. What does that mean, and why is the position doing that? I suggest a change to the statement to say, drafts and develops analytical data analysis reports using various advanced statistical methods to be used as a basis by SMT to make decisions regarding property acquisitions. This example clearly outlines the benefit of the task in a way that readers can easily understand the benefit provided. Use simple language for technical skills. When writing your job description, try to avoid language that is too technical. Language needs to be made reader-friendly and avoids technical jargon. Write the JD in a manner that is easily understood by any reader using clear and precise statements. We want our JD to be written so that someone without a technical background can understand the position with relative ease. In other words, we may recommend not calling something Monte Carlo analysis, as many people may not understand what it is. Use gender-neutral language. When writing the job descriptions, avoid using pronouns, simply use the position or just a verb if needed. Tips of JD writing. The don'ts. I made these mistakes when crafting my job description. You can learn from me by avoiding these points. Job descriptions should not be incumbent specific. Job descriptions should always strive to separate the role from any specific incumbent. Especially avoid creating a role for a specific incumbent. The risks of creating a role for a person is that should the person leave, it may not easily be filled again for lack of candidates with exact matching or unique combination of qualifications. We always recommend positions be developed based on the work to be done and not the work a person is capable of. Job descriptions should not use acronyms without first spelling them out. Teams may use many different acronyms to describe various programs or projects. However, not everyone may know what they mean. We want to ensure that when acronyms are used, the first instance is spelled out. Avoid underwriting or overwriting. If the role is a simple and straightforward entry-level role, we should avoid adding fluff to make the JD sound more impactful than it truly is. Conversely, if the role has a large portfolio, it's recommended writing the JD with enough detail to match the level of accountability. For example, fully responsible for the strategic implementation of standardized sanitation and sterilization methods via chemical solvent-based technology to ensure high-level customer satisfaction with regards to Metrolinx facility cleanliness standards as set for in the Metrolinx Act and Metrolinx Customer Charter et al. In other words, the statement relates to cleaning. On the other end, if a director JD says it's accountable for management of all Metrolinx rail stock, you should add in more detail to reflect the scope and scale of the responsibility. Tips of JD writing. The good. Samples of strong statements. Now that we have given you tips on the do's and don'ts of JD writing, here are some examples of well-crafted statements following the tips outlined earlier. These statements are all written as outcome-focused statements with clear and precise language. Although we do not state which job they came from, the statements are written in a way that we can easily understand the duty and expected result. Feel free to pause the video so you can read the statements. Tips of JD writing. The bad samples of incomplete statements. It is also helpful to show some examples of statements that are not as strong. The following statements are a good shell for a strong JD, but require some additional refinement to flesh out the duties and expected outcomes. Feel free to pause the video so you can read the statements. Module 1 Conclusion. This brings us to the conclusion of Module 1. In this module, you have learned what is a JD, the do's and don'ts, and several examples of what are good statements and incomplete statements. I hope you found it helpful. In the next module, I will talk about the JD writing process in greater detail.